Welcome to Taishi's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make korokke or Japanese style croquette. So korokke is a quite popular food in Japan nowadays. It was one of those food that was imported from outside, from England I think, after the Meiji Restoration, as Japan opened the country and a lot of Western culture came in. But as many Western influenced food in Japan has been involved in the Japanese way. And so it might be a little bit different than the croquette that you may know, but it's very delicious and in Japan it's a very popular, very loved food. I do have to admit it is a bit longer process because you have to cook something and let it cool down and then cook it again. But each process is not difficult itself and it's very difficult to fail. So if you're looking for something that you really cook, then suggest give it a try. And in Japan, very few people actually make them themselves because there are many places where they sell croquette. Like many butchers sell croquette on the side, or there's even a store that sells only different variations of croquette. You can also even find them in almost every convenience store. So if you're in Japan, I suggest give it a try as well. Then, let's get started. Here are the ingredients for making korokke or Japanese style croquette. So here I have ground beef, onion and potatoes. And for the potatoes, there are actually two kinds of potatoes. You want to find the one that gets soft when cooked. Then for the seasoning, salt and pepper. And for the coating, I have all-purpose flour, egg, and panko. This is Japanese style breadcrumb. Many Asian stores nowadays have these panko, or you can make them yourself from just regular bread. How to make that, watch my other video on tonkatsu. I'm showing how you can make your own panko. Then of course frying oil and Worcestershire sauce for the sauce at the end. Then let's start cooking. That's the first thing we're going to boil the potatoes. Make sure you boil the potato from water. And just to make it easier at the end to peel the skin off, I'm going to make a very small slit like this. I'm going to put the lid on and turn the heat to high and bring this to boil. Once this got to a boiling, I'm going to turn the heat to simmer and cook like this and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes or so, depending on the size of the potatoes. Then as the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to prepare the rest of the ingredients. So for the onion, I'm going to cut into small pieces. For that, I want to cut in half, cut the top off, peel off the skin. Then I'm going to make slits like this without cutting all the way to the end. Just like this, still attached on the bottom like this. So that when I cut like this here, I can make small pieces very easily. And I'm just left with the end like this. Now let's cook the onion and the ground beef. Then I'm going to heat the frying pan with a medium heat. Then once it's got warm, I'm going to put in a little bit of frying oil, about 1 to 2 teaspoons. Then we're going to put in the onion. Then we're going to fry this very lightly. As the onions got a little cooked and got transparent, I'm going to put in the ground beef. You want to try to break out the ground beef like this. Then once it gets cooked like this is finished. I'm going to turn the heat off. And then we're just going to wait until the potato gets cooked. So it's been about 20 minutes now. So to tell if the potatoes are cooked, I'm going to use a chopstick like this and stick it in right here in the middle. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. And if it doesn't go right in through, then it's still not cooked, so you might want to cook 5 minutes or so more. But these are cooked now. So I'm going to turn the heat off and take these out. So I'm going to wait a little bit and let the potatoes cool off so I can peel this easily. Now once it's cooled off a little bit, I'm going to peel off the potatoes. And these kind of black parts you definitely want to get rid of. Then using a potato smasher like this, I'm going to smash those potatoes. So as this gotten smashed, I'm going to put in the fried meat. And then mix it up. Now I'm gonna season this with about 4 teaspoons or so. And also about the same amount of black pepper. And then mix it in. So as it's been thoroughly mixed, I'm gonna put it to the side and let it cool off, because it'll be much easier to shape the form once it gets cooled down, and also holds the shape better when it's cool. So we're gonna wait about half an hour or so. So half an hour has passed, let's shape the croquette. So I'm gonna separate this into like eighths. So I'm gonna shape this into a flat oval shape. You don't want to make it too flat because it'll break easy. You also don't want to make it too wide because then the inside will stay too cold when you cook them. So this about 1.5 centimeter width is fine. Then we're just going to repeat the same process. So then this is finished for the shaping of the croquette. Now let's coat up the croquette with the panko or the breadcrumbs. So for that, I'm going to coat up everything with the all-purpose flour. Now we're going to coat this with an egg. And then I'm going to put the panko in here. So the best way to do this is that you put the egg with the left hand, or one of the hand, and then put it in here like this. Then with the other hand, I'm gonna coat it with the breadcrumb. Then you have the wet hand and the dry hand like this. So you put it with the left hand in here, like this, and then pass it to the panko. And the panko you only handle with the left hand. So all the croquette is coated with the breadcrumbs, and as you can see in this way, my hand stays clean like this. So before frying the croquette, I'm going to prepare the side dish of the sliced cabbage. So for that, I'm just going to need probably 1 or 2 leaves of these. So for this, I want to take out this stem part. Today I'm not going to be using this, but don't throw them away. They're still very good. They're good for any soup or any kind of cooking recipe. So then I'm going to cut these into thin slices. Don't be discouraged if you can't cut them thin like this in the first try. It also took me a while to get this stage as well. And when you do this, don't hold the cabbage like this, otherwise you'll cut your finger. Hold your finger like this. We call this a cat's paw. So how you do it is that hold the cabbage like this, and the knife is going to touch the knuckle so that you don't cut your finger like this. And then you'll be sliding your finger backwards like this. I'm gonna put it on a plate like this. Then let's finish for that. Then let's fry the croquette. So in a pot, I'm gonna put in some frying oil. Then we're gonna turn the heat to high and bring this to about 170 degrees. So once it's turned to 160 degrees, I'm gonna turn the heat to medium and low. If you don't have a thermometer like this, you can just put in some breadcrumbs in here. If it sinks and then come up right away like this, then this is 160 degrees. Then in this, I'm gonna put in the croquette. So make sure you put in very softly, otherwise they can break quite easily. Don't touch them too much. You wanna let it cook very slowly, like this, for about 1 to 2 minutes. So after about a minute or so, I'm gonna flip to the other side. Also starting to look very good. Be very gentle with this. So after another minute, I'm gonna flip to the other side again. Then again, I'm gonna flip one last time. Now at the very end, I'm gonna turn the heat to high and make the crust crunchy. Just for 20 or 30 seconds or so. Then this is looking really good. Then I'm gonna take it out. Then this is finished. Let's put it on a plate. By the way, these leftover croquette, you can save it for later. If you're eating it in the next couple of days, then you can put it in the fridge like this. Or if you want to save it for a longer time, then you can put it in the freezer and freeze it and just fry them like this whenever you want to eat them. In that case, you want to make sure that you're heating with a very low heat in the beginning so that it gets cooked through to the middle. Then this is finished for the croquette. Let's eat. Oh, this looks so great. Then let's eat. Itadakimasu. So first I'm gonna try it without any sauce. Itadakimasu. So soft on the inside and so crunchy on the outside. Oh, so delicious. Then I'm gonna put some Worcestershire sauce. Itadakimasu. The sauce is just such a good match with this croquette. So good. And this croquette with the Worcestershire sauce pairs up so well with the rice. Itadakimasu. So good. Oh, so good. This is such a great mixture of the flavor. Very subtle, but the sweet flavor of the potato with the ground up beef, a little bit of the onion, and with the Worcestershire sauce, and the crunchy breadcrumb. Oh, just such a great combination. And the sliced cabbage is also very good with the Worcestershire sauce. And by the way, this croquette is also very good with the lemon. Squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on it. Itadakimasu. This is also a very good change of flavor in between. Something you can also do is eat the cabbage with the croquette. You can also get the crunchiness of the cabbage combination with the croquette, also good. Something that you can also do, it'll probably be seen kind of like a low class, but at the same time still tastes very good, is that you kind of make your own donburi with your bowl of rice. So what you do is you have a layer of rice, and on top of it a layer of sliced cabbage, and this croquette soaked in the sauce, and make my own croquette donburi. And then I'm just gonna have everything all together. Itadakimasu. Not something you want to do in front of other people, except for your families. Oh, that was so totally delicious. ごちそうさまでした. Oh, that was so savory, so delicious. So as you saw, making korokke or Japanese style croquette takes a little bit of time and has a lot of process, but each step is technically not particularly anything difficult. If you're patient enough and if you're up for the challenge, that's something that you may want to try. I definitely guarantee that it is worth the effort. So I hope you give this a try. If you enjoy what you saw, I'd love it if you hit the like button for me. And if you have any question or any requests or any feedback, please feel free to write anything in the comments below. Then I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.